I'm talking to one of my other clients right now on Slack about building out some Ghost Biffy stuff for his order forms.
And you're an affiliate also, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're gonna flip this live. Actually, I already did, but I'm gonna throw us in.
All right.
Welcome, everybody. I'm gonna do this really awkward look in the camera thing. Welcome, everybody, to the Wunntee Weeklies. Today, as always, is Wednesday. Today's episode of Wunntee Weeklies is brought to you by Western Digital. And this Western Digital Passport, this is old school, by the way. I want you to know this has a hard drive in it that spins. A lot of you young bucks don't even know what that is anymore.
Can you hear it spin up?
Yeah, spins. When you plug it in, it goes.
Love that sound.
Yeah. Remember, back in the old days, all computers had spinning hard drives, none of this solid state flash stuff. Anyway, really excited to get started today. John and Ross and I have been we put our heads together. We did some thinking, some strategizing, and we're going to cut down the length of these episodes, but we're going to increase the output.
It's all about her.
Or something else we're going to put on there. So we got 29 minutes left. We're going to go through 3 sort of segments. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff, and it's going to be pretty awesome. So to start with, guys, you're going to have to remind me what we decided we were going to start with because I don't remember. Oh, life hacks. So we decided what we wanted to do was so the 3 of us spent a lot of time dealing with productivity, trying to increase our productivity, trying to increase our output, just trying to make life easier and better. And so what we want to do is go through and talk about a couple of, maybe let's limit ourselves to like 2 or 3. I say this to you guys, really, I mean it for myself. We'll limit ourselves to maybe 2 or 3 things that we've done, tried, new tools, new ways of doing things this week that have increased productivity or just made life better. Then we'll go into some other stuff after that. So who wants to start?
I want to hear John's.
Oh,
John. All right.
I don't
John.
know if I have any new life hacks this week. I'll talk about what I'm real quick about. What new things I'm working on. So in the marketing world, I'm trying to figure out how to use Udemy to create a product and deliver it. See how that works. Bret, earlier we were talking about that. You said it's a great place to test a product before you're going to go live with it. In your own space. And that didn't even cross my mind for what I was going to do with that. I just kind of wanted to get in there and test out the platform.
You hearing an echo?
I'm hearing an echo. I am.
You're hearing an echo? Is it me or is it? I suspect it's not me. Sorry, Rob.
I'm going to go headphones and we'll probably discover it's me.
Well, no, it wouldn't be you if you're hearing the echo. I
heard a whistle, so I'm going to check to see if it was me.
Technical difficulty. Sorry, everybody. You might also notice that I'm in a different locale. It's because I'm in a kind of a love-hate relationship with my Wi-Fi router right now, and the Wi-Fi router is winning. So, all right, is the whistle gone?
Is the whistle gone? I'm hearing myself. Somebody. Is it Ross? I heard a click.
All right, are we good now?
I think we're good.
Do you hear yourself still, John?
I don't.
Beautiful. I was a little bit nervous for about half a second that it was actually this mic, and I was like, I paid $400 for this mic, and John can hear himself, even though it's facing the other way, and I'm just got my laptop speakers. Anyway, keep going, John.
Just Udemy. It's for anybody who doesn't know what it is. It's a marketplace to create and consume courses. And my first course, par for the course of what we're doing here today, was a Gary V course. You've got to finish it.
You're taking his course.
Yeah, it's starting to feel a little like he just took a bunch of stuff and threw it in a sequence.
I'm sure that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, so it's not as course-like as I expected. I suspect they might have given him a little bit of leeway given his notoriety.
Right.
May or may not be the case. It's good content, but I haven't, like I say, it didn't keep me engaged long enough to get all the way through it yet.
Right.
In one sitting. That's kind of like, I think, a litmus test for a short course is you should really get through it in one sitting.
Yeah.
If that's what you sit down to do.
What has been? Is this in pursuit of you making a Udemy course, or so you're just checking out like the platform?
So I've started the process of creating a Udemy course. using the GrowBrain stuff that you and I worked
Nice.
on so long ago. I figure that's just, I've got that content. Let's just go ahead and.
By the way,
make
I still need to record the video on how to make your bed. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay.
It's good. It's good content. I just didn't have, like, they hadn't come out with like iPhone wide angle lenses yet.
Right.
Which
Right.
It sounds dumb that that's the excuse that I'm coming up with, but that's the excuse of why I never made the video before, because you couldn't get the whole bed in the video.
Gotcha. Well, I look forward to seeing that. So I mean, it's almost off subject for what we're doing here today, because it's not marketing in and of itself, but it is it's a way to create a product, and I think that's something that we all get caught up in is not having the processes to create a product. I know that I want to create products for myself, to help people with the stuff that I know. That's GrowBrain isn't not a marketing product, to help other marketers, but it's a useful thing for anybody to. I mean, they can go to growbrain.com and get it for free right now, I think that. Whoa. I just lost everybody. Am I still here?
You're still
there.
Okay. All right. My screen just went white. I think that it's a neat place to get something launched quickly. There's processes. They've got a nice system in place. They've got checks in place to do it. So if you are creating a product, I think that would be a great way to get something launched quickly and kind of see the litmus test of how it's how people like it.
Nice. What has been your quickly, because I think we're going to have to be a little more judicious with our time here, but what do you think about like the pricing, because they restrict how expensive you can make your courses?
And so that's the other thing I'm learning about that product, that platform, is that there's a closed group for Udemy authors, I guess, and course creators, that people are saying, hey, I've got a $197 product and it sold for $4. That seems a little crazy to me. But I'm looking at going there with a $7, $9, $10 product, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So people are, my thoughts on that is selling a lot of them at smaller cost is probably the way to go on there.
Cool.
But it's a platform like anything else. So
I think it'd be interesting as you go, even though it's not marketing related. I think it'd be interesting for us to check in with that and just see how it's going. Because I've started. This is classic. I've started maybe 5 Udemy courses. I even have video recorded in some of them.
Okay. So you start creating.
Yeah, I'm using it as like a template for the creation process for like making curriculum. My problem is I think I'm like you, or no, not like you. I think that the reason why I asked the question about the pricing thing is because I'm trying to create products that I would sell for $500, and it's not meant for that. So I think I just need to break stuff up, but I think it'll be interesting to follow that. So.
Yeah, I think I think that's a good way to do that. And break it up into a series. Yeah. So here's course 1, marketing 101.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah. So yeah, cool. So it's not marketing exactly, but that's what I've got. That's what I've been working on kind of a little bit this week.
Cool.
One of the things.
What about you, Ross?
I think it was in this group we talked about that I was looking for a new proposal software, and I went with Proposify. Started using it. In real life the last about 2 weeks. Love it. Proposify is the way to go. Yep.
I wonder, do you think there's something in the name with the suffix -ify that makes products good? Or is it that there's some board somewhere that won't give out a domain name unless they know you're a good product? You know what I mean? Like Shopify and all these other ones, like most of them are really good.
They're really good. And they're really annoying. So I bought it in spite of the fact that they had "ify" at the end of their name.
Yeah, exactly.
Tired of those.
Yeah, too many.
Yeah, good stuff. Took me a while to set up the template. That was the hardest part, was getting all of your stuff in one template. But then when it was done, and it was like all set up, I sent out 3 proposals on it so far, all 3 of which were accepted. That was awesome.
Ooh-ah.
Yeah. So
how does this differentiate from like Microsoft Word template? What's the difference? What's cool about it?
The on the small level of cool, it just looks better. That you can lay out and do some really nice things to make it look really good. On the much cooler template, it's already built in to be able to know when it was opened, what they viewed, how long they viewed each section. Like, hey, here's the about us section, here's the proposal section, here's the contract section, here's the bid section. How many seconds did they look at each of those? They can digitally sign it, but I don't have to pay for that whole big DocuSign
Nice.
shenanigan. They can click to sign it, and then I sign it. They get a download. I get a download. And as it moves through opened, viewed, and signed and accepted, that ties into those whatever 4 stages you want in your Infusionsoft pipeline. So you have to have the sales pipeline enabled on your Infusionsoft, but it will move them through. So if they open it, if they haven't signed it in the next 2 days, I can let Infusionsoft take over and send out reminders. Hey, did you see this? They can, few little cool things, like they can comment on the proposal if they have a question. Well, what about this? And I can answer in line in the proposal, and it becomes part of the proposal.
Nice. That is really cool.
Yeah. And proposals is one of those things in my business that I hate. I really, really hate them. And I hate contracts. So I had too many clients with email paragraph proposals and no contracts, which is no way to scale your agency. So by doing it like that, I'm actually doing them all the time now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was, it plugged a hole in my bucket, and it was fun to do. And it looks
There's
good. So
a hole in the bucket. Dear
Yeah.
Liza, dear Liza.
I'll
Your name isn't Eliza, is it?
No.
No, that's awesome. I propose a file. I think I'll look at that because I have a system. One thing that I'll say, I'll be quick. The one thing that I've started doing it's more like a life, like just a shift in my business mentality, is that I'm trying to not be so tied to Infusionsoft myself personally.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because I don't do enough in revenue to really, like, if I wouldn't pay for Infusionsoft at this point in my business if I didn't have a free account. You know what I mean? So I don't for my own personal business, tying into Infusionsoft has been more work than is necessary. So I have an app right now called 17 Hats. I don't know if you guys have looked at it. I think I may have talked to you about this, John.
I think you did.
A little bit. 17 Hats is basically, it is what it sounds like. It's an app that's supposed to take care of all the things that a freelancer has to deal with. So it's billing, it's invoicing. There is a proposal section, but it's not nearly as cool as what you're talking about. Although you can tie into, it's not as cool in the sense that it's not like an open API. So I can't tie into Infusionsoft to kick off actions there, but I can set up reminder emails directly out of 17 Hats. And I can also do like bill reminders. They'll handle the bill reminders. But the thing I want to talk about with them, there's lots of cool stuff. You should definitely check them out. The thing I like the most about them, and I definitely think I was talking with you, Ross, or John, about this. They have a system. They have a service where you can just pay like less than like $800 a month, and they'll provide you with a bookkeeper, a client service manager, and like a front desk girl.
Huh,
so
nice.
like someone to answer your phones. So $1,000 a month, less than $1,000 a month, which is a quarter of what you would end up paying one full-time employee. Right, about a quarter of what you would end up paying a full-time employee. But they'll handle all of your client communications. They'll handle all of your inbound and outbound, inbound communication with clients, and then they'll also handle like cold traffic inbound stuff. And then they have a bookkeeper, right? So they'll handle some of that stuff. So that kind of changed the way that I was thinking about additional staff. Now I have specific needs for what I'm going to be building into, but I just thought it was interesting that there's somebody that's going into that niche, and it's actually pretty cool. So I think that's the big thing for me, finding apps that are Luke, I am your father. Somebody's lightsaber just activated by accident. So that's me. 17 Hats and the possibility of hiring 17 Hats to be my admin team, which would be brilliant.
I like that. Yes, that's the idea of fractional services. I think is really interesting. I see a lot of companies doing that now. There's a company in town here, I think, that's doing fractional CFO kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's.
So here's the thing. It goes back. You and I talked last week about the shared economy. I think it goes based on that same thing, because it's like, look, I could go and be a professional CFO, and I could go work for a company. The truth is, and the absolute truth is, that I don't need to spend 40 hours a week on a company if I'm like the main CFO there. Like, I got additional time. Now, depending how big the company gets, but even as the company gets bigger, I'm going to have a whole team of people underneath me that are doing all this work, right? So if you get one CFO, like the time, and like a legal, like an in-house staff, what's it called? Representation or counsel is the word I was looking for. You have to be a really big company with a lot of legal stuff,
right,
to need that. So for small businesses like me, instead of bringing somebody on, hiring somebody to do that, having, like, if I can share that system with somebody else, and I just need enough of their attention or their time to keep me safe. I think it's brilliant. And I've actually thought for a while about offering my own services in the same way, basically being somebody's marketing arm. Like, I've actually reached out to a couple of people. Most people still want to have people full time. And I'm like, yeah, but I could do it faster and better for cheaper. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I think it's actually good because I don't actually want to be doing marketing stuff forever anyway. So that's cool. That's awesome. All right, let's shift gears. Now we're going to move from this is what I figured out that's cool about life section into John has a question and we're going to answer it section. John?
All right, so my question is, what's the best way to deal with client communication on the onboarding stage? And let me preface this with an example. So I've got a client. She's put me on hold right now because of some financial issues that are outside of what we've been doing in the marketing. But in that initial conversation, I asked her what her goals were, and it was to build an e-commerce site, to build a membership site, to build all the marketing funnels, to put people through all the processes and tie all these things together. And what she really needed, though, was immediate income, and which is why she's put me on hold, is because she's gotten herself into a financial bind. So my question is, what is the best way to, when you're onboarding clients, to make sure that you have the level of communication and transparency with them, that you really find out what their needs are, not just what they think that they want, but really what it is they need to, so you can figure out what, right now we need to get you this much money coming in per month before we can even start these next things, because you don't have enough money to last you for 3 months at your current, she was a big on Instagram, kind of went upside down on her. It's just not working for her as lead generation anymore. And so seeing that, if I had realized that trend was in place, I would have done things differently for her and helped her better, been a better service for her than what she got. She got what she wanted, but in the end, it wasn't what she needed. Does that make sense?
Yep, makes perfect sense. So I'll just follow up with one question. I actually have a couple of pieces of advice that I want to share.
Share.
Get rid of those.
I was going to say shed light on, and then I didn't come out. I didn't say light. Anyway. Do you feel like either at any point in your professional relationship, do you feel like it became apparent to you that what she said she wanted was not what she actually needed?
It was too late at that point, but yeah. I mean, okay. I started getting a sense of urgency to get things done, but it didn't solve the problem. We weren't working on lead generation at all.
Yeah.
Because she was doing so good on Instagram, but yeah, so that.
Okay, so I'll speak quickly of what I think. So a couple of things that I think can help in that situation. First, I've said this before, but in a consulting role, I think that you, me, Ross, as consultants, it's our responsibility to dig deep with all of our customers and get a good picture of where they are and where they're trying to go. Mostly because you can't get to where you're trying to go. You can't really have a conversation about how to get to where you want to go till you know where somebody is.
Right.
So what I think is, when you first have a conversation with somebody, and I'm going to tell a quick story. It's not a quick story, but I'm going to tell it quickly for the sake of time. I'm going to tell.
Anybody want to put a wager on that?
Yeah, I'm going to try so hard. John, do you have
That's
that emoticon ready somewhere? I think there should just be like a buzzer. There should be a buzzer that you hit, and that emoticon just flashes on the screen. Okay, so quickly, when I took the study abroad group from BYU to Moscow, and when I was from the very get-go with them, I was very business-like. I was not very friendly with them. I wasn't like mean, but I was very like, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to go. And I didn't come across as like their friend at all. And I had no issues with any type of communication. And when I sent an email out, I got responses from everybody. When I needed something from people, they all did it. Everything was fine. We got halfway through the trip in Moscow, and I had told them all, I want you to check in with me every night before you go to bed. I just want to, I don't care where you are. I don't care what you're doing. I just need a text message from you saying that you're alive. They did every night. Everybody checked in. Then halfway through, I'm hanging out with a couple of the guys, and I said, they were like, do you actually care, like, if we check in? And I had gotten to the kind of friendly with them, and I was like, no, I don't do anything with it. I just like to know. From that moment on, nobody texted me ever again. Okay, so I think that the moral of that story, see, I could have taken at least 30 minutes telling that story, and I took like 30 seconds. So you should be proud of me for that. I think the moral of that story is, number one, you start out, you're going to set the expectations from the very beginning. I think we have a tendency, especially, I think you and I, John, have a tendency to be very informal with people, like quicker. We want to get to that place of like, let's just get stuff done. I think having a conversation early on and saying these words, in order for me to get you where you want to go, I need to know where you are now. So the questions are, how much money are you making? Where is it coming from? What are you spending it on? So you get a good picture of, okay, here's how the cash flow is going. And you should just know going, and this is probably just experience, you should just know going in, if somebody's not profitable, they need cash.
Right.
Especially if somebody's like negative, like if they're paying out more than they're making, because that's your first step. Because a lot of times they'll be like, oh, I want to build all these campaigns, and then you see that they're cash flow negative, and you're like, oh, no. We're not going to build campaigns, because this is what happens. When you step into the role of the consultant and you step out of the role of like the order taker, number one, they're going to have more trust in you anyway. Number two, you're actually going to get them what they need as opposed to what they want. And I think in the long term, you become a lifelong asset to them, and they're going to refer you to everybody, because you're not as concerned with just being like, oh, well, you said you wanted this and then it didn't work and it didn't work out, but rather you took the role of the expert.
It's more of a holistic approach. Yeah, that's exactly where I got this potential onboarding call today, and I think that's where I'm going to really dive deep into it with this guy and make sure that I know where he is.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. As a potential customer, if a consultant asks you, gets very, very specific on questions like that and gets real, suddenly it's no longer this like sales call, and it's more a conversation of, okay, now I know where you are at. Now I'm asking real questions. I'm getting deep into what's actually happening. Can I provide services to you? And the biggest thing is like be real with, if you're not the person to give to get someone quick cash, like it's better for you and for them to figure that out like right from the get go.
Absolutely.
If you figure out they just need cash and you're not that person, they got to go someplace else, and you have somebody. Anyway, there's lots of other things I think that we could talk about, but I think that I'll cut it off there. Ross, what wisdom, what greater wisdom do you have to
I don't
learn?
have greater wisdom. I have a slightly different title to the same mindset. I try to drop the word consultant as little as possible. I don't like that one. So I think of it as a doctor. I'm just like, great, you came in here because you said this was a pain. Let me just check really quick. What's your diet like? Do you exercise? What else we got? If we take care of this, if we build this campaign and this is the result, what would you do next?
Mm-hmm.
Why? If I do this flash sale and you're sitting on $100,000 after that, where would we spend that? If they feel like you're a doctor doing it for their good, then it's their idea, because they come in and say, hey, I've got this symptom. You do a diagnosis, and you guys are smart enough. You can see the red flag, like, oh, they're actually short on cash. We need to, and as a doctor, you can help them let it be their idea that, hey, if I did this, would that be a better value to you? That's all.
I like that.
I really like that.
And this guy's a doctor, so he'll grasp that.
That's perfect. Yeah, you can use that actually, John. You say, look, like when you
I was already thinking that.
And they've already looked up on WebMD. They think they know what they're doing, and so they want to tell you what to prescribe them. And you're like, wait, hang on. I went to medical school for 4 years and did a residency for 4 years, and I know what I'm the expert here.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
That's perfect.
Cool.
Well, that's the perfect time. We're gonna shift now to our final segment, which is Bret, Ross, and John look at the Infusionsoft Marketplace and rate the apps. Dun dun dun. All right, let me turn on my screen.
We doing a thumbs up, thumbs down, 1 to 5, 1 to 10, chocolate, vanilla. What's our scale?
Thumbs up, thumbs down, and then Well, I'll limit the number of these. I'm going to put everyone on this little trip here. You know, the infinity trip. Let's do a thumbs up, thumbs down, and then one thing that we like. Like for basically, if it's a thumbs up, what do you like? If it's thumbs down, like why? So thumbs up, thumbs down, why? Yeah. Okay. So now we kind of cheated and looked here earlier, so we kind of know what's going on. But let's go through these, and the first one here is Mobit. Okay, let's go through. We'll go John, then Ross, then me.
All right. Well, we can skip.
By the way,
it because I've not used it.
If you've never used it, then you can just say abstain or whatever.
Yeah, I'm skipping this one. I've not used it. Although the ratings look good, but they all look good on here. So
yeah. Ross.
I do not use it for me. I don't use it for clients. I give it a thumbs down. I've investigated it to be used, but the one thing I cannot get past is they use a 5-digit short code instead of a regular 10-digit number. And that with that come all sorts of limitations that I'm not willing to do when I can go somewhere else and get 10 digits.
Nice. Very good. I like that.
very good point.
I also have not used it, but I didn't know about the 5-digit thing. 5 digits gets it a thumbs down for me from the get-go.
That would be the same for me.
Okay, Memberium. I know John. Actually, both of you, I think, have used this quite a bit. I haven't used it, but go ahead, John.
I love it. The customer support is fantastic, and it's very extensible. Thumbs up.
Awesome, Ross.
In a very biased opinion, 2 thumbs up. I just recently became a certified partner with them after having used it with a number of clients. It's customer service is the most obvious reason to go to Memberium, but you don't need much customer service at all because the tool is solid.
Awesome. I love that. I'm going to be a little bit controversial and agree with your thumbs up while giving it a thumbs down myself, only because I can't get the freaking Ion Cube loader set up on any of the servers that I've used. I know that's my own fault.
That's a thumbs down for your hosting.
I know that's my own fault, and it's my hosting's fault, but I have only one person to blame, and we're only talking about Memberium right now. So, Micah, we love you. Know that I love you. You're my boy. So you'll understand. Okay, plus this. John.
Oh, I can't imagine anybody not loving plus this. I mean, so many things that it can do. It's incredibly powerful.
Nice.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Ross.
There are 2 plugins that when I talk to people about them, I don't ask if they own it. I ask if they own it yet. You're going to buy plus this. It's just when. And it's great stuff. That last little overhaul they gave during the summer, it's just a solid tool that fills some holes that are wonderful.
Cool. So that's thumbs up. Thumbs up for me because, I know the guys. I worked with them for a while, and I have a good understanding of the way they're forward thinking. They're always going to be ahead of the curve. They always have been ahead of the curve. And I think one of the things I like the most about them is the design aspect. So huge thumbs up because Todd is anal about the design.
Great.
Okay. We got time for a couple more. My Fusion Helper.
Got nothing
John.
to say. I've never used it. I know it seems like it's a plus this competitor that's cheaper. It's worth looking at if it can do what you need it to do, and cutting corners on a couple bucks is important. So, but I can't give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down because I haven't tried it.
Okay, Ross.
I don't use it. I have clients that use it. So my impression thus far has been similar to John's. It's cheaper than plus this, and in all the discussions I see online, someone will ask a question, and so many answers these days are, hey, plus this does this, and then someone else will chime in, my Fusion Helper does it also. So I love that they're pushing and making other people step up their plugins, but I can't speak to the quality of the tool. I just like that there's another one out there.
Gotcha. Cool. I also have never used it, so that one gets a wash. Okay, schedule once. John.
Nope, never used it.
Okay, I know Ross has, so go ahead, Ross.
Yep, I have it set up right now. I have an account. I use schedule once. It took a little, excuse me, I'm going to compare it to Appointment Core, which is the other one I use. It was a lot harder to set up. But with that, I discovered it's because it has endless possibilities, like crazy amounts of fine tuning that you can do in schedule once. It is Like if you get someone who has some really strange requests and very niche, I've got to do this and this and this on the appointment, but only at these, then schedule once is going to do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a good tool. It's harder to set up. If you think you're having a hard time with Infusionsoft, it's that same level of learning curve to get into schedule once.
Okay, so schedule once. We'll end on this because we're out of time. Obviously you mentioned for somebody that's got specific needs for their scheduling, schedule once is the way to go. For the run-of-the-mill guy that's using Infusionsoft, schedule once or appointment core?
I'd probably say appointment core.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, and I have never used it either, although after that glowing review, I'm going to go sign up for an account and check it out because I'm all about having the ability to do things without ever actually doing it. I always said, in fact, this is what we're going to end on because actually I need to turn my screen off and my camera back on because I want to look deeply into the eyes of the camera while I do this. I've always said I prefer to have a nice sound system, not because I want to listen to my music loud, but I want to be able to listen to my music loud if I want to. And I feel like having the capability makes the when I listen to it quiet, it makes it even better. So anyway, that's all for today, everybody. Thank you to John and Ross for joining. We're going to be doing this every week. I'm excited to have John and Ross involved. We got to get some more people on here. We're also going to talk a little bit more about the possibility of running some events together. I kind of just said that, so now it's a thing. Thanks, everybody, for joining. And those of you that are watching the live stream, which is none of you, those of you watching this video afterwards, thank you for joining. We will check you next week. Peace out.
Adios.
See ya.
See you guys. Thanks.